Battle Creek Central, and I did too. There. You know,
Let me get my grip on this again, because I'm holding it with my fingers. Keep it from moving too much. Don't know how to feel. That's fine, just kind of.
I'm trying to make the point in a way that even if bad stuff happens to you, sometimes what was bad, you know, not being able to go on to college and all, turned out to be very good because I got into what I really should have been in.
All right.
And,
Are we
you
ready
know,
to start again? You think? Ready?
Oh,
Go. Just go
would you like to talk more about you becoming a teacher, or,
well, I could, yeah.
because that seems like,
Well, to break off a little, I got married when I left school and had 4 children. And that was that was a shock to me in that, and you might pick up on this a little, birth control was not very good at all. And I thought, I got married in November and so on, and I got a job at, I think, Electronic Supply. They're out of business now or something. And because being college prep didn't prepare me for any work, I wasn't a secretary, so they always put me in like bookkeeping or something like that, and which worked out all right. And I think it was maybe in February, I thought I had the flu. The doctor thought I had the flu. It was not the flu, I was pregnant. And I was a teenage mother. I had Janine when I was very young. And then I think the doctor was teasing me, and I thought he said I was pregnant again, which was the birth control. It was lousy. My friend that I met in 7th grade, and still is, she agrees completely with me. And so I had a second child, about 15 months later. And so I had 2 little girls. And then I had a brief respite. And then I had 2 boys. So I had 4 children in about 5 years, 5.5 years. And, but in a way that was good. They were all in one clump, so to speak. And they were fun. 2 girls, no real trouble at all with them, and then 2 boys that made us humble again. And but they're all in this area, which I'm very, very happy with. And one grandson even has a little boy, Leo, so I have a great grandson. And I've enjoyed that, though there've been a lot of turmoil along the way with it. But then I went into school, and finished and graduated and got my master's, and then got a job at KCC. And I really liked working there, because I kind of, the students are different, but I thought they gave a very good grounding in what you needed. I had no trouble transferring or anything like that. So I taught, and it worked out well with the kids and so on. So, and then my husband retired finally. He was a chemist at Kellogg's in the lab, and then I can't think of the year. Was it the 80s or something? Anyway, he had Parkinson's, and I took care of him. I was retired then, and I took care of him for about 10 years till he had a fall. They say you don't die of Parkinson's, but like what kills most people, a fall, and or disease. And he fell and broke his hip. That was the beginning, kind of, the downward slope. So I've been a widow. He died in April 29th, 2010. So I've been a widow for 8 years. that took a lot of adjustment, because I always lived, packed with a lot of people all my life. Even as a child, that little bungalow was crowded. And I remember wanting to sleep in the bathtub so I could have my own room. That did not go over well with my mother. So, yeah, just things like that, I guess. I'm kind of winding down now. What else would interest you?
How old were your kids when you decided to go back to ACC?
Oh, Jeff was kindergarten, well, first grade. You see, they had to be in school and they had to be healthy, so they went to bed at 8 o'clock every night. I still get remarks about that. And I tried to feed them very well, because I knew if I had a sick kid, that was trouble for me too, not only them. So they stayed healthy, but they were first grade, probably, Bruce would have been about second, the girls maybe fourth, fifth grade, I know, and, into junior high, which was a stressful time. The rules were unimaginable, dumb rules. And then we lived through the marijuana crisis. It was, when they graduated in the 70s, more or less. And, because I had them in 53, 55, 57, and 59. And it was, the Vietnam War was very troublesome. And, and we tried to weather that and so on. And, I'm most pleased that our 4 children turned out to be compassionate people, kind people. And none of them are wealthy, but you've got to get your values right. So,
Would you say that right now your present would be is better than when you were younger?
yes and no. Some things, definitely birth control for women particularly, that makes a big difference. And RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I hope she gets better, really. But she's done a lot. If you read her book, it's a very, very good book on how she works at getting, at getting things that would make women's lives better and open up opportunities for you and overcome obstacles. And but Ruth Bader Ginsburg is few and far between. So, but back like to my childhood, I didn't have health care back then. Nobody did, but we'd go to the drugstore and the druggist would kind of say what we needed. And I remember my cat really bit me, and I went to the osteopathic hospital. That was when they put sulfa in from the war, and because it was a bad bite on it. But yeah, for drugs and things like that have come up. I would like single payer health care for everybody though. A little, and because I could see, like without it, some people have very good social networks and safety provisions, and some people don't. So I'm all for Medicaid, food stamps, etc. But yeah.
How would you define a good life or a successful life?
Okay, a good life is having your basic needs met of food, shelter, clothing, education, healthcare, those staples. And I would say that could be a good life, that you need a rock bottom there. And then a successful life, many people equate success with earning money. And after you have a certain amount, no. Just like if I won the lotto, which obviously I haven't, I would try to use it to do good. Not, and that's why I'm so amazed. I would not buy material possessions, and I'm really worried about the environment. But the environment when I was growing up wasn't good. I know when we drive to Kalamazoo, the river used to run white and smell. You'd have to roll up the car windows. And I said, well, the paper companies all just threw their waste in the river. And even at that age, I said, well, that isn't right. You know, so I'm an environmentalist as much as I can be. I drive a Prius, not very far. But yeah, so I would say a successful life is helping other people, because I think if you noticed in the book Night, the cooperation that they got kept some of them alive in the worst circumstances. And man's inhumanity to man knows no bounds, you know, everything up. And I know I thought, well, some present people need to read the story of King Midas. Are you familiar with King Midas?
Only vaguely.
Okay, what happened? He wanted money at all costs. Money was his goal. He would be successful if he was money. Everybody else was a loser, etc. And so he had a wish granted, and the wish was that everything he would touch would turn to gold. I've got it made now, except when he picked up an apple, it turned to gold. You get the point. And that's the King Midas, and I think some people need to be reminded of that. I won't mention names. So, okay, any other questions?
Do you believe that you've lived a good and successful life?
Yeah, though I've had my moments, yeah, I would say so, because I'm helping people, I think, a lot. And you know, that brings up a point though. You'd think we would never have concentration camps at all. And I think of our prison system. There they are, and the inequities and so on of that. And once a convicted felon, you're gonna be cleaning the toilets. Yeah, for the rest of your life. There are a few breakthroughs, or people that start their own business and make it through. Or have money. Our justice system, they're changing some things on that slowly to make true justice. But yeah, now I'm not such a bleeding heart liberal that I would say, oh, let everybody out. No, that isn't the point, but we could do a lot better. And at times there have been brief moments, like bringing education into the schools and so on. But then some people said, well, I have to pay for college for my kids. They shouldn't get it for free. And it's that lack of a generous spirit that I think is so bad. And musicians a lot, artists a lot have a generous spirit. If you look carefully at it. Some maybe not, but yeah, that's how do I judge people, like their character. Thinking of Martin Luther King's speech and stuff, by the content of his character. So.
Do you think that the challenges you've faced and overcome have shaped you into who you are as a person today?
Yes, I think so. If we hadn't been real, and I don't want to over dramatize it, if I hadn't come from a very poor family and all, I wouldn't have the sympathy or empathy that I do have. And so that shaped me in a positive way. But it wasn't so bad because most everybody around me was poor. And so as a kid, I didn't think of myself as being poor. And my mother was a very good seamstress and so on. And so it was hidden a lot. And poverty can be hidden too. And, but there are still basic needs. Is it the government's duty? I would think so. Well, if the government encompasses the whole society. So, yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us today?
No, I really think you have a great teacher, instructor to get you doing these things, so, and I don't know the other people, I think, I do a few, but, I bet you've learned a lot, haven't you, from interviewing different people? I would love to see the other interviews, really,
I believe they're going to be available on the website, so.
really.
On the Willard Library's website, I believe,
Oh.
so.
Oh, great.
We can definitely keep in contact with you, making sure you can see the other ones.
Yeah,
And this one, so.
I would like that, oh, God. Yeah, well, so I thank you very much for.
Thank you. Like, shared so much with us, like, thank you so much.
Yeah, gave you something to think about.
Yes, definitely.
And I really, are we all done?
No, you can keep talking.
Oh, I know, junior high school is rough, high school is rough. Nobody has a free time just because they're young, because you're trying to figure out what in the heck I wanna do, where am I fit in, you know? And you're probably, relationships with your mother and dad and siblings don't always go smoothly. Sometimes there's a lot of trouble there, and so on, so, yeah.
With the siblings things, that I can empathize with you, because I have 6 siblings myself, so.
Okay, but, yeah, well, I had one very mean older brother, and from his side though, when he was 8, he had his eye put out, and I was born, and I think he thought, oh, that little pink bundle brought all this into this house, and my dad left, you see, too, and my grandpa died, you know, and my grandma was not a motherly type, shall we say. She, you know, she was, but she had here, she and her husband, with perspective of age, they probably thought they could retire in his printing business. He quit Grange Printing and set up his own shop in his garage, and they were going to have a relaxed, peaceful life. And my mother came back with Billy, and then she had me, and, you know, things cascaded then. But people get involved in auto accidents, and they get patched up a little, or look at the school shootings that you have to be aware of, you should. In fact, the other day I did, you know, trying to think, and I thought, So I got on the website because so many people, when I discovered how fast people could bleed out, I thought, ooh, not good. So I bought some tourniquets, but I can't figure out how to use them quite. I will though, I'll ask. And also from Israeli bandage that clots almost immediately. And I thought that is why I ordered one of those from Amazon. I got, the web isn't all bad. And my little tourniquet things in bright colors came if I could never figure out how you put them on. But men usually have a belt, or they used to, but we don't have that much to put it to stop bleeding. I'm glad for some of my classes, like we had home nursing, 1 unit or something, and that was really helpful. But you know, you learn your pressure points, you learn CPR and stuff. But and really, we've learned from school shootings, like was it Columbine? They didn't go in, and these people bled to death. They weren't that badly wounded because they were told to stay out until it was quiet. Well, now they go in and the guy got shot and killed that went in right away. But I don't know if you have drills out here,
We do.
or you do, yeah. And, but see, if we had more mental health and better health care for everybody, you know, and it happens, some people, I don't see why people wouldn't want people to have health care. And some people, even with it, they don't vaccinate their kids with measles or anything. And I thought, well, you know, but at least we've tried, you know. So. And I noticed tonight he was most upset when he ignored his father there at the end, dying for food, how important that really gets. And yet, I also looked at some of the caravan pictures, and they look pretty plump and healthy to me. But the violence is what's driving them, I guess. But I don't know, I'd say, couldn't we just help them fix the violence? Because they think this is the promised land, and it is not. It is not. So, but it's not bad either. So, anything else?
No, I think that's all for today.
Yeah.
Thank you
Oh,
so
you're-
much for coming in. You've shared so much with us, like, you've overcome a lot in your life.
Not, well, you know, the one thing I found out though, and I like to read, I read a lot. My mother had a good library. And so I used to read there, and that was my escape. I used to hide from my grandma behind the chair and read. And, but I noticed there were the Fremont School, and there were the rich kids and the poor. But what Pat and I, the one that went on to U of M and so on, or she stayed